Depending on the question you encounter in terms of word problems, you may end up actually needing to use the quadratic formula to try and solve a word problem. This particular one has been chosen because I do know that I will need to use it. But we start it like any other word problem, just reading through it, probably going to draw a picture because that's my personal preference, and then we're going to kind of try and expand on that and see, okay, well, what can we glean from this information and how does it fit with quadratics? So Leah wants to frame an oil original painted on canvas measuring 50 by 60 centimeters. Okay, so I've got some painting and it's done on canvas as fabric. And so it actually gets stretched out over a wood frame in order to frame it. So we've got 50 centimeters by 60 centimeters. Before framing, she places the painting on a rectangular mat so that a uniform strip of the mat shows on all sides of the painting. Okay, so I've got this bigger mat. Underneath my oil painting. The area of the mat is twice the area of the painting. So we've got painting, the mat. Okay, the area of the painting is going to be half that of the mat, where 2 times the area of the painting equals the mat. How wide is the strip of exposed mat showing on all sides of the painting to the nearest tenth of a centimeter? So what we don't know is how big is this strip. That's what we're asked. And it doesn't matter which direction we're looking, horizontal or vertical, it's the same because it says it's uniform in width. So uniform meaning the same. Okay, well, the area of the painting we can figure out no problem. It's going to be 50 times 60, so it gets us 3,000 centimeters squared. So the area of the mat is going to be twice as big, so that's going to be 6,000 centimeters squared. Great. I need to figure out that x piece though, so I need to work with my new dimensions. So for the mat, the length of it is actually 60 plus 2 x's, and the width is 50 plus 2 x's. So we've got the original 50 and extended beyond by x in both directions. So I can take this piece here, my area of my mat, and my dimensions of my mat, and I can actually create an equation. So I've got 6,000 equals 60 plus 2x and 50 plus 2x. Remembering always that area is length times width. Well, what do? Well, if I'm going to try and solve for x, I need to get all my x's and on one side. That's already done. But I'm going to need to kind of try and rearrange this. It's great. It looks like it's factored, but it's not set equal to 0, so I can't use that strategy off the hop. I've got the possibility of factoring, of getting it, in vertex form. Of getting it in vertex form, and then using square roots or radicals to solve it, or now I have the option of using my quadratic formula to solve for x. So let's see which one this lends itself best to. So I've got 6,000 equals, I'm going to expand this, so 3000 plus 120x plus 100x plus 4x squared. If we get everything all onto one side, we've got 4x squared. Collect like terms is 220x minus 3000. Again, it's minus that 3000 because this 6000 needs to come over onto the other side so that I can solve for x. So here I might factor out the 4. I'd be allowed to do that. 4 goes into all of this evenly, so I was with x squared plus 55x minus 750. Okay, from there I could try and factor this. So 750, my factor pairs are 1 and 750, 2 and 3, 75. 3 goes into that evenly. I'm gonna have to find a difference of 55 if I'm working with this. Maybe 5. So we're gonna try and figure this out. So take a second if you want. I'm gonna pause my recording so I can kind of write out my factor pairs. So I've got my factors here and I'm having a hard time seeing how I'm gonna make this 55 show up. So instead what I'm gonna do is I am going to use my quadratic formula. So again, options are to factor. You could complete the square, but you'd be dealing with a really big number here. Okay, or I can use my quad. And that is what I'm going to do. In which case, A, and in that case I can go back to my original actually. So A is 4, B is 220, and C is 3000. So I'm going to go, okay, well, x equals negative b, which is 220, plus or minus the square root of 220 squared, minus 4 times 4 for A, and negative 3000 for C, all divided by 2 times A, which is 4. And from here, I would strongly recommend you punch this into your calculator. So when I use my calculator, I don't even need to completely finish it to talk a little bit about this. I get 310.5 over 8. Okay, at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I've got 2 possible answers. Well, remember that we are talking about measurement. Okay, we're talking about distances away from a mat. So it doesn't make sense that our x value would be negative. So I'm automatically going to take out one of our options so that we're only actually looking at x being negative 220 plus 310.5 divided by 8, because that is the one that's going to give me a positive value, which would make sense in this context. So I'm going to do that on my calculator, and I get as my final answer that it will be x is 66.3 centimeters. So that's my difference in dimension. So we go back, always check back how wide is the strip of exposed mat showing on all sides of the painting to the nearest 1/10 of a centimeter. Okay, make sure that I've answered that correctly, and I'm done. So I definitely recommend you go ahead and practice using your quadratic formula so that you're feeling confident with it. It's not a crazy difficult concept to do in terms of plugging in values. It's just a matter of being able to correctly identify your A, B, and C. So remembering to always have it set equal to 0, that ax squared plus bx plus c, that is going to be your first step in being successful in using the quadratic formula.